Hello, everybody. My name is Laura Gagnon, and you are here. We're about to discuss the music and lyrics for In Our Hearts single that I've just released a couple days ago. I'm here with my whole team, and I'm going to have everybody introduce themselves. Starting with you, George.
Oh, I get to go first.
You do.
My name is George. I spent 31 years in the military, retired here in London, Ontario, spent probably about another 20 years going to schools and teaching kids about Remembrance Day. And now I'm just kind of retired and doing my own thing.
My name is Kristen Renee. I am a local singer-songwriter from London. I was an actress in this.
You're totally an actress.
In the photo shoot.
Yeah.
I'm the wife. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. That's it.
That's it. Cool.
Oh, hi.
Yeah.
I'm Mel, photographer, Brass Ring Imagery here in London, soon to be moving to Kapuskasing.
We're
the photos.
sad.
I know.
Yeah.
You guys have to make
Yeah,
the best of it
I
while I'm
know.
still here. And I did the photos to this lovely little lady's
They're
music
beautiful.
video, and these guys. It was great.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Hey, I'm Sessily Berezowsk, owner and operator of Headspace Studios, and I was the makeup artist for this project. And it was a very heartwarming and emotional event that I loved being a part of.
I'm Sean. I'm the audio director at Prevail Media Group. I also engineered and produced In Our Hearts with Laura.
Hi, I'm Sonic. I am also an actor in the images for In Our Heart, and I was the husband going to war.
Hi, everyone. I'm Bruce.
That's why when you said you
I
were the
spent
wife,
quite a few
you're
years
the
in the
wife.
military. My last war was in Bosnia in the early 90s. I recently got to know Laura, and before her parents, who were also fabulous musicians. So when she asked me to pitch in on this project, I signed up immediately, and I'm delighted to be with you all tonight.
Yeah. Cool.
Great job.
Good job, guys.
And we're done. No, I'm just kidding.
See you later. So how this is all going to work is, so you have the opportunity to chime in. You can ask questions, comments, tell your stories, memories on Remembrance Day, or even just the song. If you've heard the song, if you haven't heard the song, go check it out on Spotify or YouTube Music under Laura Gagnon Music, In Our Hearts. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with some questions out of a hat that I posted earlier. This fun little guy. And then, yes, we're going to start with the first question. I'm going to read it. And then if either it's going to pertain to somebody or all of us. And yeah, that's how it's going to go. So here's the first one. This one is for our vets. This is for you two.
All right.
Yes. Says, in watching this video and meeting the team, what does this bring to you as someone that has lived this reality?
Do you want to start that one?
I'll follow you, sir.
When I listen to your song, I just think it's amazing. I think it's an amazing song. It actually brings sadness to me, to be quite honest with you. And I hear that song because I've kind of lived those, not so much those experiences, because those ones seem more to relate to the First World War and the Second World War when the husband was going off. But I knew a lot of people in the Second World War. So it just makes me feel like sad. But at the same time, it's just a great song. And to be quite honest, I just think to myself, what a talented young woman you are when I hear that song. What a beautiful voice. And I think to myself, if I was a soldier over on the front line, heard that voice, I'd be thinking, oh, I'd love to get over there and meet her. That's what I'd be thinking.
Bring them all.
So,
Bring
yeah.
them down. Nice. Do you want to pick the next one, Kristen?
Are you going to let Bruce? Or is it Bruce or
Oh,
no?
Bruce. Yes, please.
Oh, thanks very much.
Yes.
Well said, George.
Thank you,
I
sir.
agree with you completely. And what touched me the most was that it brought home to me that today's younger generations are realizing on their own that the whole question of service to country is deadly serious and has some absolutely tragic consequences under certain circumstances. So as an older veteran who's always interested in helping people remember, it's a fabulous reinforcement that our young people today are on side and marching with us. Well done, Laura.
Well said,
Yeah.
Bruce.
Well, yeah,
Thanks,
well
Bruce.
said.
Yeah.
Nice.
As we go through these questions,
Yeah.
if like,
Like
if
goosebumps.
Right?
Goosebumps.
Those
If-
Bruce bumps.
Bruce.
Bruce.
Good one there.
Coin that, coin that.
Nice. So as the questions go, if anybody else has any questions or comments like to ask one another, that's totally cool as well. Yeah. What you got there, Kristen?
Well,
It's a long one.
That is a long one.
oh my. Okay. So I guess this goes to anyone who was a part of the project. But what did you anticipate the project to be when you were first asked to join? And then what did it become?
Oh, that's a good question.
Great question.
That is a very good question.
You can answer that first.
Yeah. Why not? Well, actually, okay. So Laura is one of my very, very, very dear friends. So as soon as she said, "Can you help me with something?" I already said yes, and I didn't know what it was. And then what it turned out to be was obviously something super emotional. Like we all listened to it together before we started doing the pictures, and we were all just like shook when it ended, and it set the tone to really get like the emotion flowing. Obviously, I've not been to war or been with someone who has, but I could like feel the pain almost when we were
Yeah.
trying to capture it.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I
That's
don't know
good.
that I could really add anything more to that other than it's kind of sitting there going, "Hey Mel, I want to come on," and it was like, "Hey, yeah, what am I doing?"
Yeah,
and then boom,
I also wasn't sure what to
ultimate
expect.
change. No way.
Yeah, I was kind of just asked last minute as well, and it
Thank
didn't
you, by the way.
know what I was getting into, but she explained it to me what she wanted, like an image of like the husband kind of leaving before war, and so it was like very emotional, and like you said, like it is a sad event type thing, and I kind of fortunately I kind of had a bunch of like props or clothes or costume to wear because my dad had recently passed away, and he was a hunter, so he had a lot of camouflage clothes that I kind of just inherited, and it didn't really fit me well, but I kind of just packed the camo clothes and the images that we got for her
it worked.
cover.
So you guys did a
worked out
skit?
really
Is
well.
that what you did? Because I didn't see a skit. Is that
Well, no,
you're the
so it
wife
was
and her-
so it was just pictures.
Oh,
Yeah.
Telling
Okay.
the story.
telling
Yeah.
the story. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
There you go.
From the production standpoint of the track, when Laura first approached this, and I've known actually Laura for over 10 years.
Yeah.
She's been
It's
at the
crazy.
studio a long time ago, but she approached me with just the demo, and it was already powerful. But it was honestly one of the harder productions from the side, is because you really need to make that impact, and you need to make sure that the message is heard and done properly. So to answer that, I was blown away how it turned out. I didn't realize how powerful it was until I got to that stage where we were mixing it and really paying attention to the space that it creates and the emotion. But yeah, absolutely blown away by it in the end.
Oh, it was fantastic.
I actually didn't know you produced it, by the way, and yeah, it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
She showed me
There you go.
like during the mix. I thought it was done. Like
No, I was like, no, it's not done yet.
Yeah.
You just wait.
Yeah,
But you're
no,
right.
it's-
Well,
it
you
sounds
knew
great.
right away when you did that,
Yeah.
it had to be done right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Especially for
There's a lot of
for who it's
people there.
for, and
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think having chemistry in the studio is definitely something that
Yeah.
helped it develop into what it is now. If you don't have that, then it's very hard to get the
I'm
message
sure I can
across.
speck for a lot of veterans to say you guys did knock it apart.
Here, here.
Yeah, thank you, George.
No, thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. I need glasses. Hang on.
I even made it big enough.
Were there any other parts to the song that just didn't make the cut? So were there any other parts of the song that didn't make the cuts?
Do you want to
yeah.
take this?
You
Yes.
take it.
Yes, absolutely.
There was, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's funny because I wanted to put in, and I obviously discussed this with Laura, I wanted to put in some orchestral strings behind it. And at one point I had marching snares in there and some hi-hat work. And every time we listened to it, it just took away from the emotions. And we had produced it to a certain point where all these instrumentations were in, and then I gave it to Laura and I said, Laura, what do you think? She said, you know what, this is losing the message as we go. So yeah, there was a lot that got cut out, but we did leave some very light strings in just to create the ambience.
I think you guys did perfect because it's the softness of her voice. When you were out there on the front line, that's what the guys wanted to hear. They wanted to hear the softness of her voice and dream.
And like I said, it
Take
allows
out
you to
of
dream.
that,
That's
yeah.
what it would. It would have.
Yeah,
Yeah,
didn't
you would have.
distract you from.
That's right. I wasn't thinking of music. I was thinking, what a beautiful voice. Oh, she sounds so beautiful.
Cool.
That's
That's
what I
cool
would
to
think.
hear. Yeah, no, that's
Then
really
again, that's
cool.
me. I'm like that.
Like an angel in the field.
That's right.
Aw.
Like a little angel.
That's nice, guys.
Perfect.
Bruce?
Mine, it says, what wars did you serve in? And mine was the Bosnian War in the early 90s. And prior to that, I'd been with NATO in Europe. When thankfully nothing bad happened.
And I was the same. I was in the Gulf War. I was in Germany. I was in the Gulf or the Cold War, the Gulf War, and the Bosnian War. Wow. It's kind of like Bruce.
All right. I'll click one out here. What were your thoughts when you were asked to play a part in the In Our Hearts photos?
Who's that for?
That's like YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be for you
I-
too.
I-
Yeah.
I read it, so you answer it.
That's a fair
Aw,
stage.
alright.
Your turn now.
You're in the hot seat.
I'm a little nervous to answer this honestly because it's not premeditated, but I really wanted to do it justice, so I was like proud to do it because I know like the meaning behind it and everything. But I'm like, wars. It's hard for me because like the concept itself is really heartbreaking, and I couldn't imagine like my brother going off to something like that. So it's not something that I like. I don't want to say support because they do, but I don't know. I wanted to make sure that it was about the relationship and the heartbreak between the couple and not about promoting war, essentially. If I said that
That
right.
makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Represented.
Yeah, and-
Exactly.
Right?
To do
Making
it
sure with
correctly.
honor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
It
exactly.
needed to be cared for properly. And
Yeah.
that was my whole thing with the song when I wrote it, when we produced it, to make sure that it was respectful to all of the
Yeah.
veterans and the soldiers out there.
I think you did a great
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't about the war; it was about
No.
their relationship
Exactly.
and the loss that she feels
Yeah.
and he feels. So
Yeah,
you,
kind of
that's what
honor-
I felt. From it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And indirectly, it was about families,
Yeah.
which
Yes.
are the essence of any veteran service.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and as like an actor as well, it kind of like was it was really like heart touching type thing, kind of like being in that kind of moment, and you know it like coming into it, I didn't really know what I was getting into, but what in those photos, it like really you really kind of feel in the moment type thing. Like I couldn't imagine like you know like a guy having to say goodbye to his wife to go, and yes,
Some of them were happy about that, by the way. No, I'm just kidding.
well, actually, okay,
all about perspective, isn't it?
so there's actually a funny story that happened.
I can't wait to
So
know.
we took all the photos, and we did like a full photo shoot, like a full day of photos, and then we get back late, like after dark, because we went out to the dock to do an image where it's like the guys leaving at the dock, like waiting for the boat type thing.
Yep.
And then when we got back and we were all done, and this is just us done working for the day, and then we all get back and kind of like more like relieved, right?
Mhm.
And then I don't know if a song came on at your house or something, but you guys, all the girls started dancing in the kitchen, and I was the only guy there, and I was like the husband who had left, and then I was like, yeah, and this is what happens when all the women, when the guys leave.
Oh, the wives were happy too.
Totally.
They were all dancing in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
He's gone. You're just like, oh no.
Yeah.
Actually, the next question I have here relates to what I was saying. So this is kind of a segue. So I'm guessing anyone in the video can answer this. But while bringing this video together, has it changed any of your thoughts / perspectives on how others dealt with these experiences in real time?
Oof.
That's a good question.
That's
Yeah.
a great question.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely, and that's kind of like was what it was like acting in it. Is you actually do have to kind of get in the role too, and I'm sure you felt the same way as well.
Yeah.
Where it was like very kind of, you know, it's like an intimate and sad moment, right? So, yeah.
And being able to captivate that
Yeah,
without word, without before
Yeah.
getting that picture while we were listening to it is literally like you just said, diving into that
Mhm.
to be able to captivate that into a photo that's showing that heartfelt, where you can feel it right there. And that's where
Yeah.
it really getting to
guys-
that point.
You guys did such a good job.
Yeah, you too, Melissa, as well. Like, you got the
Yeah.
angles, you got the lighting. Like,
Yeah.
it was like, and we actually got a sunset. It was really nice. We got a sunset
Beautiful.
when we were taking some of the photos.
Although it was
It
raining.
It was also, I was
And-
gonna say, it was also really cold and rainy.
It
Yeah.
was.
That was like kind of
But
perfect
added-
for the
It
moment.
was. It was
Totally
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
Is that like Erie?
Yeah, Lake Erie.
Yeah.
Yeah, by Port Glasgow.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
great horizon.
And I think,
Yeah.
Laura, it sends a good message too to the government. Think twice. This is serious stuff.
100%.
These people are losing their lives. You better think very carefully before you commit people to war.
100%.
Because it's tearing people's lives apart.
Absolutely.
And is it worth it? And then when it's all over, is it even worth it, right? So
Where's,
I
the,
think it
where's
gives-
the gain, right?
Yeah.
To me,
where's
that
the
is-
gain?
where's the game? That's right. And it's a question, right? Think about it.
Yeah.
I have a friend that used to say that to me all the time. He'd say it, think about it. He would say it really, way before you do something. That's what, think about it before you do
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's what I got
If
from
you want to
it.
learn about a
Cool.
piece,
Yeah.
ask a vet.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Very good question. Answer.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I have no idea what I'm saying there.
Yeah.
I was just going to add to that too, for
Yeah.
that particular question, when you talk about what it might have been like in real time. I think for all of us working on this project that day, just through conversation, listening to our song first to really get into the moment of the song. And then just it really, for me anyways, put into perspective while I was doing the makeup, I was also thinking about what was it like during real time for these people, what they were going through. They're fighting for us, they're fighting for our rights, they're fighting to come back and see their families. And it became, a makeup session became a super emotional, passionate
Yeah.
session. And we all became, it was almost like we were all just living in that moment at that time. And we really were able to come together and capture, all of us had something to say, something to put in. And we were able to capture that just by talking about perhaps what it would have been like if we were in that moment with all of you.
You guys did a great job.
Yeah, thanks. It's
I
kind
mean,
of how I wrote
fantastic.
this. They wrote the song with moments in mind. For instance, the second verse, which I can't remember what the second verse is now. But as he's packing, he's holding her hand, right?
Rose
and
petal something?
the
No, that's the intro.
rose
That's the
petal
verse.
chick is the.
Told me there
I
was a
told me there
chance.
was a chance. Thank you.
I know it off by heart.
You think I would? You think I would? So the lyric goes, "You told me there was a chance that you'd never come back, so I held on to your hand while you packed your bags." And when I wrote that, I had that imagery in mind to connect it, so it made that part really, really emotional there.
I was actually
Yeah.
gonna bring that up because
Yeah.
we talked about that outside before we even got the shot.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be of all the shots, there was hugging and tears and him walking away, the classic things you think of on the day that he leaves. But I never once thought about her sitting on the bed surrounded by his belongings and him putting things in the bags while she's kind of trying to still connect with him as he's
Yeah.
packing to go. That brings it right home for probably anyone.
I agree.
That was really cool. It just made it very I guess real.
Yeah.
Yeah, that moment would be
I was gonna say, when you put
Yeah,
yourself
so-
into that reality, right?
Dreadful.
Is thinking about how that is for the person losing them going to wherever it may be, and
Right.
it just right. It's
but
that
being
pack-
happy to support the country
support
and
exactly.
bravery and
That's wild.
tough balance.
Yeah, so I can't even imagine kind of so I was in your guys' shoes when you're saying goodbye to your wife. And then she would have been in your wife's shoes type thing. So the images we got, like she said, packing beside the bed type thing. And there was an image of walking out the front door and she's standing at the door and he's walking away. And then there was another image at the dock, like I mentioned, where he's waiting for the boat. Yeah.
I remember those times. I lived them.
Yeah?
Yeah,
So I wasn't far off.
No, you guys were back
We're
on.
dead
No, and so I
Yeah.
can't even
Cool.
imagine that was me feeling it, but
Mhm.
it's in your shoes, you guys actually lived it. So-
No, you guys did a great. I mean, it was a great job, and you could feel the love coming from the love between the two of them in your song.
Oh, good.
I could, like the dedicated love
Mm,
between the two of
absolutely.
them.
Yeah.
What did I have, Bill?
You got it.
You got it. Nice.
Right.
Cecily,
It's the long one.
give her.
Or who wrote it. With each
Laura.
role,
I don't know.
with each role in the making of this video and the song writing creation, with each of those roles being of importance, what is the one focus that helped each member of the team achieve the mood and ultimately the finished capture?
Wow.
I'm gonna just straight out say it. This girl having like everything down to a T of exactly what you wanted and the vision at which that you were like, hey, listen, bang on. This is what I'm looking for. And even when it was parts that fell through, day of, day after, day before, like, you know, there was a lot of things. And because you knew exactly what it was that you were envisioning to be brought to life, from my standpoint, I mean, damn girl, you made it easy. Like it was like, okay, cool. And I mean, at that point is where then it was like, okay, awesome. I had the ability of going, okay, sweet. We drove up together. Us being able to talk about it and go, hey, we both know that there was curves and side straights for you. But I mean, as they say, without none of us really knew that.
I
And you
wasn't
pulled
gonna-
it together.
I wasn't gonna let
Oh my
you
God,
know.
but this is what's great though, is
Yeah.
being able to have that really, like I said, it really made easy work to captivate exactly what it was that you wanted.
Tight
You know what I
visions.
mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very specific, tight vision on what it was that you were wanting from this. It's neat.
Yeah, I wrote it a year ago, so I've had some time to
Time
think
to
about
think.
it.
Wow.
Exactly what I wanted. And it's funny, last year before Remembrance Day, I wrote the song 3 days before. And then I asked Sean Wilson of Remembrance Gardens if I could sing it. And he says, yeah, sure, why not? I'm like, well, is that going to be good or it's going to flop? So here we go. Yeah, so I ended up singing it and everybody asked me, where can I get that song? We love that song.
And when
Everybody
can you come back?
And when exactly?
Right.
Mhm. November 11th.
That's
coming
right.
up.
Yeah, we need you
In a
again.
week. I'll be there.
And they're not an easy audience.
No,
No.
they're not.
No, not.
But you bring the emotion to it.
Yeah.
You can feel the emotion when you sing.
Yeah, it's very much like that in the actual production when we were here at the studio working on it. It was the ease, and I think I mentioned that to Laura after we were finished. I'm like, you made this so easy for me.
Yeah.
You came in prepared.
Yeah.
You knew the emotion you wanted. We, had some fun trying out, some different backups, but she nailed everything. So my job, the hardest part was the mix, making sure that sonically it captured what we needed to, and it had the right color and it had the right tone, and the message was left for the interpretation of the audience member, and especially for the veterans to understand, maybe relive what they're had to go through, but also for a newer audience and a younger generation of soldiers to be able to have that type of emotion and understand, what people went through that are in your position.
Right. I know it brought tears to my eyes, and I don't cry.
Right?
Yeah.
It is actually magical. So along with having a super set vision from you and obviously beautiful production, like just listening to it invokes emotion, whether you want it to or not.
Yeah.
Right.
It just, even the
100%.
music just kind of gets you like goosebumpy. So, I mean, all that put together, plus who she chose to be a part of the project, we all flowed so well. So we were able to be
Effortlessly,
emotional. We broke out in laughter.
Yeah.
When she got a good shot, she'd be like, we're done. We got it. Let's go. Let's move. Like everybody knew their place.
Yeah, every shot was amazing. Like every single one you sent me, I'm like, how do I choose? I don't choose. I use them all. Right?
Just about to say, you got
Pretty
you got
much, yeah.
options.
So from like now until next week, you're gonna see all these amazing pictures that Mel took, Brass Ring Imagery, of course. And yeah, it's beautiful. It's gonna be a picture with some of the lyrics from the song.
I
Yeah.
love you.
Yeah.
You're good.
I just wanted to add to that too, just
Sure.
to finish off with that question, that I think it's really important to acknowledge that I came as a makeup artist, you came as a photographer,
Yeah.
you guys came as models, but by the end of it, we were all one creative source.
100%.
You fully allowed us to be a part of your project, not just as those roles, but like we would be like, what do you think of this, Laura? You'd be so open
Exactly.
to all of us being creative. I didn't leave feeling like I was a makeup artist. I left feeling like I was a creative force in your project, which I really want to thank you for, because that's just such a blessing for all of us, I think, to be able to be
100%.
to round out that experience that way.
Can I paraphrase that for you? Mission achieved.
Yep.
Yep.
Flow is important to me, right? Or it gets in the way of real emotion.
Yeah.
Right. I don't like dealing with stress. So, and like you said, I'm open to any kind of idea because I may have missed something. I don't know, right? I have my vision, but maybe there's something else really cool, like that magic moment that maybe I'm just missing.
So you got collaboration.
I have my
of an
amazing
entire
team, right? My
That's
amazing
the-
We got
team.
creative freedom and stay
Yeah.
on track.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
wild.
It's important to
That's so
allow
cool.
for flexibility.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
you did, and allow people to.
Well, everyone's an expert in their field, right? So
Learn to hurt.
it's a give and take relationship. That's why.
Is that why we're gonna bring it up?
Mhm.
You have to be. Able to
kidding.
So you're good. You're gonna grab that?
Your turn.
Change of subject.
There are inside jokes here.
Yeah, there is. So you've always been a passionate creature. What is it about Remembrance Day that holds such a special and prominent place in your heart?
So I'm gonna answer this one.
That's for you.
Yeah.
I think it was
Let
for
Let
you.
me talk for once. No. So actually, both sides of my family I think they were deployed. I can't remember where they were deployed. They were all deployed. But my grandfather, he was part of the finances for the Avro Arrow project.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think of my grandfather when I wrote this song. So a lot of his memory is kind of sewed in there with the song. So that's kind of, that's my sort of connection to Remembrance Day. And of course, singing at the Remembrance Day commemorations for the last, how long? Like, is it 10 years?
I don't know.
You've been
you.
at every single one of them.
I know it's been a lot.
It's been a long
Yeah.
time. Also singing in France as well for Vimy 100, and singing the national anthem for the Maples for Vimy tree planting that my dad put on, and singing at all of the battle sites of Vimy Reg, which was really
wow.
amazing, super amazing. And I think I don't sing O Canada quite the same anymore in a good way, because now I can actually feel what O Canada actually means now from being at the Vimy Monument. So it was a pretty surreal experience.
And God Save the Queen. Let's face it. Nobody sings God Save the Queen like you do.
Oh, thank you, George.
Yeah, you belted that out. I was
Now it's gotta save the
amazed.
king.
I know. I sang it there the other day.
He did.
Yeah, for a
How's it
funeral.
go?
Same thing. You just
Oh,
changed
oh,
words out there.
Yeah.
Was that a trick question?
Yeah, I think of my grandpa too. He was like one of those, I don't know what you call those guns, like a gunman.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like the
Gunner?
stationary ones.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Anti-tank? Anti-tank? Anti-tank.
Artillery.
yeah,
Uh,
artillery.
yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm trying to think because there's
my
my brain just
connection
went blank.
there.
I'm hanging
There's
on
a
your words right
specific,
now.
well, there's a specific name, and I'm not sure why I got blank on it. Not anti-tank.
Like,
It's,
is it a chain gun or something?
Machine gun.
Well, it's a machine gun,
Machine
but I
gun.
mean, they have they're firing specifically at planes, right? Is that what you're talking about? Was that
Yeah, I don't know.
Aircraft.
Anti-aircraft.
Yeah,
Thank you, anti-aircraft. I don't know why my brain was blank.
But if I may interject, because it's out of sequence, I just want to reinforce what Laura was talking about when she was in France. And because I was there witnessing the locals' reaction to Laura's singing, they just loved it. And their first question was, when are you coming back to sing again?
And I did the very next year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
They got lucky, they did.
They were so cool. I don't know. I felt like this is kind of weird, but I felt like us as Canadians driving down the road, I felt like we were a parade, and they were all on the outsides waving the Canadian flag, which was super surreal. Yeah. Memories.
Memories
of
of the
a
way we
lonely life. This next question is for our vets. What made you want to join the service?
Well, I grew up poor as a kid in Toronto, so I was looking for 3 square meals. Man,
Wow.
they gave you dessert there. I never had dessert until I joined the army, and then when there they got 3 flavors. You got Jello, you got a pudding, you never even had dessert, and these guys got 3 flavors.
Wow.
So that, and to be quite honest with you, ever since I was a kid, I read books about Canadians in the Second World War going over the top, and I thought that's what I want to do. Right there. I want to be the guy going over the top with the machine gun. That's me.
Cool.
And that's what happened, and that's what I decided to do, and I did it.
You did.
I got into the RCRs, the Royal Canadian Regiment, and did exactly that. And I was the guy that carried the machine gun. I was actually quite proud of that because when you got to run around with that machine gun,
That's
Oh, the
heavy.
Yeah,
weight.
that's heavy.
Yeah,
No doubt.
And you've got all
Right?
your other equipment on too.
and
right?
plus we're Canadians, so because we're Canadians, we're pulling a toboggan. It's not like I used to say to people, you see the dog outside and the dogs are pulling the sled. That's us. You just can't have dogs out there because they're not tactical. In other words, they'd be barking, making noise, right? So it'd be you in the sled with your rucksack on, you'd be carrying your rifle and you'd be pulling a 250-pound toboggan up in the hills in Norway.
Insane.
So I loved it just because it was a challenge. I love the challenge. I
Yeah.
still do today. I like to be challenged, right? So
Yeah.
it was fun. And you meet so many good people too. So that's one of the reasons I did it. Bruce.
I was really lucky. My father was a World War II war hero. So from the time I was about 6, I started sensing I wanted to be like Dad. So then I ended up in cadets at the age of 13. And then I went to university on a military scholarship. And then I volunteered to become bilingual. And in order to become bilingual, I had to go to a French army base in Quebec, Valcartier, for a year and a half to develop the French I'd learned during the 6-month immersion course. And while I was there, I was nominated to become an aide de camp to the Governor General. Wow. And in those days, it was Georges Myatte. So I was, again, extremely lucky and I was selected. So I ended up working and living in Rideau Hall for 2 years.
Bruce, you didn't say you were an officer. Sheesh, when I came in here.
Relax.
I'm out.
There's the men and then there's the officers.
Yeah.
And neither of us
I'm
can
just
do
kidding.
without the other.
That's right.
End of story.
I'm just teasing you.
Of course.
It's all with love.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's all with love.
At ease. Is that what they say?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
At ease, Corporal. That's what I was.
Or
That was
the,
the corporal.
the latest
Yes, you were.
edition when I was in was smoke if you have them.
Yeah. Oh, you got him.
I was in Air Cadets. So
Oh, were
I,
you?
yeah,
Good.
I remember at ease.
Is that it?
Or even,
I remember attention.
Nice.
Short and
Yeah,
sweet.
that's good.
but the best command is ceasefire.
Yes.
That's always a nice command to hear.
Totally.
Yeah. Got one? Oh, nice. Not that one though. Just kidding.
Secret weapon. What was the most challenging part of taking pictures?
It's you.
The photos.
You know what? I don't really know that I can think of I don't know that I can really think of it in where it was smooth. Like I said, to be given like that creative control of being like, hey, this is what I'm looking for, but do you, because that's what you do.
Yeah.
And it was like from the shots that we did up in the room where it was
Yeah.
like you guys were getting ready,
Mhm.
being able to sit there and just be like, hey, sweet, like we want to show this here. And the ambient light just worked.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that there was really a lot of the challenge other than the rain when we went to
We had to like hike it
oh gosh. And we like
down the
so to
pathway
say,
there
like,
in
down.
the rain.
you're in your dress, you're like, hey, let's go. I thought this was closer.
Yeah,
But I
was
mean,
not.
other than that, I mean,
Yeah.
I can't. It was only it worked because the spitting just kind of added to that, the feel of your hair now being at that point of just loose curls, sad. Like honestly, like
Sad loose curls.
sad
Are they
loose
loose
curls.
curls or sad?
Well, in the dynamic of what the photo was representing, right? Is it was giving it that extra emotion of like, again, sadness, like you're leaving,
Like
like
setting reality.
You might
like
not be
sudden,
doing that.
and you
Because I
might
haven't
not.
seen these pictures.
So
Something
as
before
Laura
it
was
goes
just saying,
to,
she'll be
yeah.
ending up putting over the next course of the few days. You'll
You
be
gotta
seeing
save the
pictures
content
coming
for every
out,
day. And,
Gotcha.
giving you
gotcha.
one more.
Okay.
Well,
yeah, keep the momentum going.
here,
I
you
see.
do that.
Now I'm
Yeah.
curious about these.
Well, I
pictures.
can show you one right
Will
now.
you please?
So this is the shot
Curious goes with the name.
right there. That's the one that I'm kind of representing right
Yeah.
now. So
That's
that's
Oh, that's it. Oh, very
You
nice.
can see
Grabbing-
this picture on my my Facebook page in the
Yes.
event as well.
and I've
Okay,
also
very good.
Yeah.
shared it. But yeah, so that kind of is where that is like it was effortless to some degree of just it was nice to be able to have rules,
There's-
but
I
also
mean, there's a reason why I
Not,
asked you. I asked you to do it though, right? Because I knew you're good at your job, and I don't have to babysit you.
no. I
At all.
appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no
I
problem.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, it was crazy that he only came to me like 3 weeks prior, and it was just like, hey, this has to happen now. I want you.
Yeah.
And we sat down in Covent Garden Market, and it was just like I listened to that song, and I was in tears by that point.
It wasn't even the finished
and
one.
no, it was like the demo
It was
of the
my,
demo
my
of the demo.
that I sent you.
But
Oh.
yeah,
That's what she heard first.
and had
Yeah.
me in
Yeah.
tears, sitting in Covent.
Just my little demo.
This
Yeah.
little demo, and that
Yeah.
was just after you did your the thing for like your interview for our Rogers TV or something. You had met up with me after that.
What's up, London?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that
one.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it was kind of nothing. I don't have it, like nothing.
Yeah, that.
But that, yeah,
It was
I
a great
don't know.
interview.
It was
Yeah.
really cool. I
Yeah.
liked it.
Interview was about the song. Actually.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it was a great interview.
I actually enjoyed it. I watched it twice.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
sweet. I watched it once. Okay.
Isn't it weird the way you go on it? You're like, hey, like
I could've
watching
said that
myself.
differently. I
You know what I
could.
mean?
I don't know. What should I have
Like,
worn
could I have
that?
done
I
this?
don't
Should I
know.
have sat up like this and turned this way?
Yeah,
I got you.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, so that's my answer.
cool. Sure. Here you go, Joy. You
Well,
go right
thank
there.
you.
No problem.
I know I should have brought glasses, but didn't expect to read. What does the song mean to you? Wasn't it the question that we just asked? What does the song mean to you? What does the song mean to you? So I guess that could be anybody, everybody. What does the song mean to us? What does it mean to us? It means service to me.
Yeah.
It means a
Bravery.
dedicated love, I kind of think. Sacrifice.
Yeah.
You're hitting all the words.
Let me think.
Yeah.
But definitely, I don't really think of war, but I just think of the couple being
So
pulled apart.
right. So the
Yeah.
song is not meant to be thought of war.
Yeah, I see it as
Right.
sacrifice.
Yeah, it's about it's supposed to be about a young couple.
Yeah.
Just being deployed
Right.
and all the emotions that they go through.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Or also memories. Right,
And for me,
well.
as a military
Mhm.
guy, and again, back to it makes me think that it conveys to the people that should be higher up. Think very carefully because
Yeah.
this rips people's lives
Absolutely.
apart.
Mhm.
Right. And is it worth
Yeah.
it? That's the way I see it.
Exactly.
Anybody else?
Somebody else?
Bruce?
I agree completely.
I guess
Hit
just
the nail.
an alternate perspective of what you
If
just
you were
said
playing the husband,
uh,
Buzz.
was just
Buzz.
kind of like so
Right, at the
she
end of
said
the song.
uh,
You can mention
in our hearts. So their perspective was like in our hearts with like the husband and the wife, like in the heart, like a memory. But even for just having you guys here, I guess it's like kind of like in our hearts, like with you guys, right? Because you guys really kind of gave the biggest sacrifice that none of us maybe will ever give in our lives. So it's like remembering that too.
God love you. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
nice of you to say.
I'm also talking too about setting the soul free. So Laura brought this up while we were in production. The ending is exactly that transformation, and it's meant in a very positive way, but a very empathetic way as well.
Yes.
And I think it's that's really
It's almost
what
like a thank you.
It is a thank you,
Yeah.
it is.
Mhm.
And up until the very last note that you hit on the piano, where it's
Yeah.
You know, and it
The
makes me
climax,
actually
right?
think about a lot of people that died, to be quite honest with you,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
the memory of them.
Yep.
That's how I think about it. And you might even too, because of some of the
Exactly.
people that.
It's our living tribute.
Yes.
Living tribute.
That's
I
great.
like
That's a
it.
great way of
Bruce.
putting it.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Bruce
Yeah.
Bombs.
Bruce knows all the right.
Yeah, that's why he was the man.
Yeah, that's right. Hashtag that.
You're next.
Because you hashtag.
Hashtag that.
Is that hashtag for Bruce Bumps?
Bruce
Bumps.
bumps, and also that
Bruce
too.
bumps.
Yeah,
you
got it.
Hashtag
Hashtag.
Bruce Bumps.
Yeah.
You want me to read it?
He's thinking, what is a hashtag?
Fantastic.
These
Yeah.
guys are wanting
You'll
hash.
like it. Don't worry.
I hope you're all waiting for me.
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun. Just kidding.
You got this, Bruce.
Okay, I need another question
Uh-oh. You didn't like that
because I
one?
wasn't there.
Oh,
It was a question about the shoot.
the shoot. Oh,
Yes,
You
do
can
it.
still
oh,
read
shoot.
them though. You can still
You picked
answer them.
them. Take them.
No, come back. Oh, come back in. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, geez, I've been neat.
I wasn't involved in the.
I know, but you still
production.
read. I know,
La, la,
but
la.
you still
You,
read them.
you've
back
been
in.
rolling.
Well, I
You're
can
the
still
little
read
ball,
it.
too.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can read it out loud.
Just like
Yeah.
this.
Okay.
La, 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 la. All those papers on the
Okay.
floor.
Okay. Are we
No.
ready?
Wants to be at all.
Hey,
Nope.
Sorry, Bruce.
Sorry.
Steady up.
That's right. That's right. Steady out. Get the chest out. That's
Okay.
good, girls. Good. I like it.
How long did it take to bring everyone together to create this?
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
All
so I shall answer that. Thank you, Bruce.
That's what I like your style.
So it took me. You mapped out this about 3 weeks.
Give or take.
So yeah, so I first contacted you.
Yeah, before it was even
Before it was
like
even a
real-
thing.
Yeah.
And then, are you interested in just like being a model?
Yep.
Because you're so.
Yep,
And she's like,
I'm
yeah.
I
in.
was like, in. What are
Okay,
we doing?
sure.
Model, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a model.
Yeah. It's because I like the way her eyes shine in the light.
I was gonna say they do.
You're
Not
gonna make her
gonna lie.
cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's kind of true. I did.
Nice girl.
Yeah. And then I contacted you.
Yep.
And then I had the guy, and then he couldn't do it. And then I had another guy, he couldn't do it.
And I had a guy.
And then you had another guy,
He
he kind of bailed.
Guys aren't
Nerds.
doing very well.
Can't can't trust man.
No, we need
So-
just one.
Yeah, that's all
Just
you
one.
just one man. Come on.
Right here.
So
There he is.
Thank you.
That's it. Here, that's all I need.
Got it.
So the morning of, the last guy bailed.
Yep.
And then I messaged Sonic over here. I was like, would you be like at all into being a model in this
Today.
like today
Like
this
in an hour and
remembrance
a
shoot
half.
for my single
It
And-
depends
Like
on
3
with
hours.
who.
in like 3 hours?
Oh yes, yes. I
And
would
he
agree.
was-
I'll be right there.
I'll be there.
Yeah, and he was amazing.
I bet you he was.
Yeah,
as soon as he
well-
found out who his model was. I'm bringing all my way over.
No, but like
Oh no, it's gonna get even hotter.
in all seriousness.
Yes.
You know, he was great. He asked me, "How do you want my hair? Do you want me to shave my head this way? Do you want me to do that? You want me to wear this? What do you want me to do?" I was like, "Wow, you're so easy to work with. I'm so happy. I
cut his own hair.
messaged you. I was like,
Yeah,
calling
shaved
you
his
for
beard
phone.
off.
That's the way you are, by the way.
Yeah,
Very easy to work with.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's
Oh yeah,
good.
you're awesome.
good. So I would say thank you because you were the missing piece to this whole team.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
And like I said, your commitment to
Oh.
play that role of having beard, shaving it off to
Yeah.
exactly like the length that she wanted it, and cutting your own hair.
kudos to you.
And let's
You-
just put it this
There
way:
you
you
go,
didn't see the back, so you're fine.
You think we gotta give
There's
him
nothing
a real
wrong with
haircut.
that.
Wait till we
Either.
get to the
Yeah.
numbers.
I know we gotta give him a real
I'm just saying
haircut.
that
I'm
because
just saying. wow.
Okay, that's too long, that haircut. We gotta
Yeah.
cut that
It
down.
was shorter.
Was it short?
Yeah, it was shorter.
You think I do this?
I was
for
gonna
like-
say it was actually probably around the length of yours.
That's about the size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Canadians, anyway. Americans kind of, you know, but
But so
yeah, I've done that too.
Okay.
And now it's coming back. So.
So to summarize, you got her because she was beautiful, but you got me because I was a adult.
there you go. Look at
Wow.
that. Oh, it is
So
getting
she
hot in
makes
here now.
Perfect mix.
Yeah.
And boom.
She was beautiful and you were just like you were. She was beautiful.
I was available.
Oh, you were available. Okay. All right. That's good. She was beautiful and I was
You
available.
go for it.
I don't think you read.
I feel like I shouldn't pull it and hold the hat.
Well,
You
thank
know
you.
what I mean?
Sure.
Well, this could be for anyone, and we could go around the room. But what were your initial thoughts about the song itself? So maybe when you first heard it, finished, what were your thoughts?
You're looking at me, so
We
I
could-
would
yeah,
say
you-
this girl is highly talented, very talented, lovely voice, beautiful, soft, feminine. Just went under me, probably like, I mean, arm guy like me. very
you go.
soft and loving, and yeah, that's what I would say.
Emotionally
Emotional
uplifting.
and loyalty. Loyalty is a big thing, right? It seemed
Yeah.
like a very loyal relationship. Like
Yeah.
she would be loyal when you were gone. 'Cause that's what a lot of Army guys worry about.
Mhm.
I wonder if you're gonna be somebody else, right? When I'm
Yeah.
gone. So
Yeah.
there's that too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, from my perspective, after the song was done and mixed, mastered, and then Sean sent it to me, I sat in my car, push play, and like, which play is this play? I don't know. Anyways, I pushed play. I sat there and I listened to it, and I thought, what? I was like, what a masterpiece it was. You did such a good job on the
You did a
production.
great job, Sean.
Yeah,
Amazing.
absolutely.
Yeah, and I sent it off to another friend of mine, another producer friend of mine in Toronto, because I wanted him to hear how good it sounded. And he goes, Laura, this made you sound, this is the best you've ever sounded on any production.
Hmm.
You sound so good. He did such a good job. And that's Roy Hamilton. And like his grandfather was Roy Hamilton III.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who's that?
So
I don't know.
Roy Hamilton III. So that's Elvis Presley's idol.
Really?
Was Roy Hamilton
I
III.
did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay, well then
Yeah.
that's saying
That's
something.
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, again, you made it
Yeah.
so easy. I mean, I've never had a production. I mean, we did it in a very quick timeline.
Yeah.
So that was one thing that was my concern is, are we going to be able to push this out to its full capability?
Yeah.
But again, you came in and it was just, I just had to sit there almost and just press record.
Mm.
And she made it so easy. And then we would bounce each other ideas off each other.
Oh yeah.
And
I
then
love
she-
your
How about
ideas.
this? How about this?
Yeah.
How about this?
I just
And
don't
it
know
was
why
done.
nobody's
Yeah.
picked you up yet. Like, what's going on there? All right,
Oh, just
listen
too
to you
late,
people
just
out
too late.
there.
Time is everything.
Somebody.
I think
Does
for
someone
me,
Make
want
her
to pick
rich.
one?
At some point in
What'd you
I
say?
time.
wanted to add to
somebody
that,
make
like,
her
Let go.
rich.
Let go of that.
Oh, we have,
Oh, we
we
have
another
Sessily.
addition.
Cecily just wants to add.
There you go. See?
Cecily wants to add to that.
Thank you.
last one.
Okay, so I just wanted to say for me,
Free
like, the
because
first
of
time
you.
I listened to it was when I
No?
got to
Yeah.
the studio
I
before
just
we
made
even
it.
started anything.
Hey, you too.
And
Excuse me.
the first thing that I noted was that I was absolutely left speechless. And those who know me well know that's almost impossible. But for me, like I've always adored your work. I adore you.
Thank
But to you were like, no, let's listen to it first. So you get a feel for what the mood is I
When we
want.
went back.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you were there too, Mel.
Yeah.
And I literally just you turned like it was done, and you turned to me and you were waiting for a response, and I literally didn't know what to say. You embodied and captured the entire vision of what you had wanted it to be just
Yeah.
in that one song. So kudos to both of you. I mean, you came with a vision, you implemented that vision, you guys made it all happen, and then as a team we got that video forward. And I think it was really cool just as coming in as just a makeup artist to realize by the end of it, like I already said, like I was part of a massive creation.
Yeah.
And I think that, when people take the time to watch this video, they're going to understand it's more than just a Remembrance Day video. There's a lot of heart behind it. There's a lot of compassion in there, and it brings
Absolutely.
things to a very real place for others
Absolutely.
instantly.
So,
Yeah.
so they're just images, and I don't have actual video. So we're just like doing images and everything like that. I wish I could do a video.
But with the connection of exactly what
That's
like,
true, right, though.
it's
I still
doing
can.
that though is
I
you
know,
can
video
do
company,
that.
Yeah.
I love
This
that.
guy
I love
back
that-
here.
I love that new nickname.
Media Group.
Kudos Gagnon.
Kudos, Gagnon.
Kudos,
Gagnon.
Gagnon.
I love that.
Laura,
Yes.
did you hear you just earned yourself a new nickname?
Oh no, it isn't.
Kudos Gagnon.
Kudos winner. Thank you.
I didn't make it up.
Ready to go?
Sure.
This is sticking with what you guys just talked about. What was the process in picking the right mood, i.e. color combos for making up in our hearts photos? So in the photos. So what was the process in picking the right mood / color combos for makeup in the
Oh,
in
that's
our
a
hearts
you.
That's a
photos?
you
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, that's a photos
Um,
question.
So, so a lot of questions, like I said, I'm not usually silent. I ask a lot of questions, and it's really important to me when I'm on set that I communicate with everybody involved. It's very important to me that the model's comfortable with what their appearances because they have to act out the scene. I consistently brought Mel over every time I would finish an aspect of what they were looking for and be like, what does this look like through your lens? Because you know what image you're looking for. Do I need to add? Do I need to take away? It's not as simple as just applying makeup.
Yeah.
I think a good artist knows to communicate with all the other artists in the room so that the finished production, which is the focal point, it comes together the way it needs to.
Absolutely.
And what do you do for our friend back here, makeup wise? When did you have to make him up?
Yeah, not
Really?
much with the
mascara.
guys. We
Well,
usually
that
just
is
do a
naturally
little bit of balancing of the
highlights.
skin, highlighting, tonal correction. If we have puppy eyes because we didn't sleep or we drank too much the night before, usually have to go in and conceal and just brighten things up a
What
bit.
about
Just
wrinkles?
so
Can you get rid of wrinkles?
I can.
Oh, good
I
to
am
know.
magic.
You wanna give
We'll
her a
talk later.
call?
Yeah,
Hi, and magic.
I am magic, yeah.
Yeah. So we actually had a couple of comments from the chat box out there. Yeah. So hello, Robert Moody. Thank you for joining us.
Robert Moody.
Robert Moody. Yeah.
Is that Bob Moody?
So
Or a different one?
no, it's
Oh.
Robert Moody. So Robert Moody actually took my other single called Dark Horse and released it all around the world.
Oh, wow.
Yay.
So he's amazing. Thank you so much
Good
for that,
job.
Rob. And he said, "In our hearts, once again, Laura, you did it again. Amazing song, lyrics, and your vocals are spot on and beautiful. Love you, Rob, Darren Patrick Radio Promotions."
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, and then Sean Wilson popped in here. He said, "Great song. Proud to have Laura sing at our park, which is Remembrance Park, Remembrance Gardens,
Right.
which is next week."
Yeah.
And
right.
then, hi, Mom, Barbara. She's on here. She said, "Good panel and very thorough."
Oh.
Oh, that's great.
Stamp of
Yeah.
approval on that one.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah.
We're gonna have Mom's approval.
And they
What
were
about the
wonderful
old guy?
to have
Where's
us
he?
all there as well too, right? So I think
Oh,
that was the
yeah.
other thing is it was fantastic to also meet your parents.
They're kind of cool.
Just very welcoming. It was the whole entire thing was just a welcoming experience all around. Yeah. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course.
Definitely a memory we'll share now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool.
Same here. Your
We have-
parents are awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the coolest evidence, right? Like now that we have the video and the photos that
Yeah.
last forever. Like what a
100%.
great way to remember that day.
Yeah.
That's so
And-
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did take some video of you guys. If you taking pictures of you two
Oh, did you?
upstairs, so you can barely see you.
Okay,
It's just
good.
your hands in the camera, but you can see them too,
Perfect. I mean, they're pretty. Like I'm covered in tattoos. You'll be able to
which I
tell.
love it.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
as long
I
as
love
it's
it.
time, it's just that's it.
So I have a video of that. So I'm gonna post that video of behind the scenes of the photos for this In Our Hearts Remembrance Day song. I'm excited to do that and share that with all of you. We have a couple. We have a couple more questions until our hour is up. So
You're
your
doing a
turn.
fine job as always.
Oh, well, thank you, George.
You're welcome, Laura.
It's a blank. Just kidding.
Handwritten.
Sonic. Love you, buddy.
You got to think about this
Yeah,
one.
no
What's going
costume.
on there?
Okay. Okay.
She's gonna go for another
I'll
one.
do it.
Yeah,
Or
let's
do
do it.
this one.
Okay. So what influences you or what influenced you to agree to this project? What do you hope to demonstrate to the world by participating in it and its release? I think we've covered
Kind of
that.
covered
Yeah.
that a little bit. Yeah.
Less about war and more about the impact of war
And what it has.
and yeah, talking about mental illness and love and sacrifice and all those. It's much bigger than the word war, I would say. That's why I
It's a
agreed
big
to do it.
And we're humans first.
Yes. Good point, Bruce.
I agree.
As always, you're spot on today.
I know Bruce is like.
Yeah.
That's why they made him the man.
Legend.
Got up early.
Spot on.
I got up
Got up
early.
early.
All day in one. Bruce, God love you.
We got here. So check the time. Beauty. All right, that took 2 seconds. We have 2 more to do.
I know. Just when you thought it would eat up 10
Slower.
minutes.
Let's see.
Oh, okay. For our
Oh,
vets,
that's-
what emotions ran through you when you were called to service?
Call to service. I was a volunteer, so I wasn't called. But I knew that it was something that I had been living with and wanting to do as a young person and then going into my teens. So I wanted to serve. And so when I finally had to take my oath, I was proud and I won't say frightened, but I was very much aware of how serious it was, but still proud to be doing it and raising my right hand and speaking those unforgettable words.
Yeah, and for me, to be quite honest, it kind of sounds terrible, but I was excited. I was excited when the war came because I wanted to get up on the front line. I wanted to see how I reacted. I wanted to see how I behaved when somebody was shooting at me, because we did a lot of training, right? So I want to see if the training worked, how I perform under that kind of stress and stuff like that. And then later I could say to myself, hey, I actually did pretty good when somebody was shooting at me. So it was kind of exciting. It sounds terrible. And war is bad, for sure. I would never, war is terrible. And I wouldn't want to ever have to go. And I'd be one of the first person to say, stop. But when I was in a building, I was looking out a window and I was watching a tank fire into the building and the whole building shake and everything come out of the building. And I was saying, this is awesome. I can't believe I'm watching that. Now it sounds bad, and maybe I should have been afraid, but I really wasn't. I didn't actually. I had a round come right by my head and thought to myself, geez, I wonder. It happened so fast that you don't even think. I thought,
There's no
was that
sound
guy
like
shooting
that.
at me?
I
The
bet.
bullet
And I stick my head down. I had my head because I like to go up into high places. So I climbed up into this attic and I smashed the tiles out of the roof, and I was watching the battle go on in the town. And you can see, what tracer round is? The tracers when they go by.
Right.
The tracer goes right by, and I hear. And I thought, I dug my head down. I thought, I wonder if that guy's shooting at me. I stick my bag up. Like he is shooting at me. And just as I did that, I heard somebody down below close the door, slam the door, and it was two Serbs that came up into the attic. And I thought, damn, I didn't tell anybody I was up in the attic, because I always like to sneak off and go somewhere high and find out what's going on around me. And I thought these two guys were coming to get a piece of me. So I took my rifle off my shoulder and I cocked the weapon. I said, open the door, and I'll blow your head off. And the guy, he turns around and he starts banging on the door. Bang, 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 bang. Later on, it happened so fast that later on I thought to myself, those guys didn't even have rifles. You know what I thought it was? I thought that those two guys were in this building, and the one soldier, he was a Serb, threw the other guy in the room. When you're goofing off and you're like kids and you lock somebody in the room, you close the door. He didn't know I was in there. I didn't know that they were doing this. And I just kind of walked right by the two of them, went downstairs and thought to myself, I think I got killed right there. Or I could have shot that guy. And what would have that ended up happening? And it would have been a mistake, right?
Yeah.
But it was kind of exciting, the emotions, like
Sure.
it's
Adrenaline, right?
So did
yeah, the
Rush.
adrenaline was
Yeah.
a huge rush, right?
Yeah.
So it's terrible. And then again, I also thought to myself, we're Canadians, and like your father, right? Canadians went over the top. Canadians were the ones in the First World War and the Second World War that took the war to you. So I wanted to be the guy that went over the top that you were terrified of. I mean, that's what Canadians did. They didn't want to. I don't want to terrify people, but you know what I mean. You want to be the best at your job. Just like you guys. You guys are the best at what you do, and look what you produce, the product that you produce.
Yep.
I've always thought a soldier is a product of the taxpayer. You get paid, right? And I wanted to be the best that there was. So
That's very
I was excited.
courageous.
Laura, do I
Yeah,
have
so-
one super fast question?
You're very courageous.
I think
Not
we're out of
really. I
time.
don't know if it's
Um,
great. It was just.
One last super fast question.
Okay, just for our two veterans, thank you first of all for being here today. It means a
Oh,
lot to
thank
all
you
of
guys
us.
for inviting us.
You're
Just
welcome.
quickly before Laura wraps this up, I would love for you to give some perspective to any of our younger generation that may be making this choice to move forward. What would you say to them or present to them, in their decision process?
You want to
Well,
read?
yeah, go, yeah.
When it comes to your options in life, you will have a very difficult time doing anything better than service to country.
That's very good.
So
Rick.
if you keep that in mind as you're considering what you'd like to do and pursue, just remember that there is always that opportunity, service to country, that has no equal.
Spot
Yeah.
on. Okay.
And I would say the same thing that Bruce said, but when you go through the spectrum now, like after joining and being excited and going to that and then living all through that, and then, now that I'm retired and listening to your song takes me back, makes me think. It's a very, it's very powerful. It's very emotional. A lot of people, when I think of what's happened to them over the years and how they've disappeared and how people have died and how people have committed suicide and stuff like that, it really makes me think. It's a great thing to serve your country. There's no two ways about it, as long as your country is doing the right thing. So that to me is the big thing, right?
That's a great
Because,
point.
when I joined the military, and people say, well, some people, they feel their way they do about the Queen. Well, I like the Queen because I might not necessarily voted for the government that's in charge of Canada, but the Queen, it didn't matter. She was somebody that I could go and serve, not necessarily a government, but the Queen. I felt much better about just serving Her Majesty, right? So I mean, it's a great thing. It's a great thing for anybody to join the military, I think. Yeah.
Thanks, George.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Yeah. That's a wrap here behind the music and lyrics in your heart single. Hope to see you guys, some of you here, wherever you are. In London, Ontario, there'll be a ceremony happening November 11th at 10:30 a.m. at Remembrance Gardens.
And at the city cenotaph at 11 o'clock.
And a thanks to all you guys for getting the word out and making that video and singing that song, because I think it's very powerful, very emotional, and it will touch a lot of people. So God love all of you. Great
Thank you
job.
for watching.
Thank you, everybody, for
Yeah.
coming out here.
Yeah.
Thank you for
everyone.
watching.
Thank you.
Thank you
Bye.
guys.
And we gotta hit stop because we are still live.
I'm like, do I
So everyone that's around pretending we're having one of those
start
conversations.
dancing.
that go
Yeah,
like
that's
this.
I was
good.
gonna say, we're
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
ha ha.
We're like,
Oh
oh,
my
and then
God,
that
that's-
jazz piano
Exactly.
starts. Someone picks up a